Well, hey, Beltway Park, welcome to the Beyond Sundays podcast. I get to be your host this week. My name is Ben Johnson. I'm the executive pastor here at Beltway. And as you know, hopefully you know, we're going through a series right now, our spiritual growth campaign called Wild Goose Chase. And really what this is us talking about the Holy Spirit and really the adventure that we go on when we follow Jesus, when we give our lives to Him. There is abundant life that He offers us that we get to live out, and it truly is that. And each week we're going through different things, as you've seen that we've talked about different cages that sometimes we can get trapped in trying to live out this adventure. And so this week, week 4, we're talking about the cage of assumptions, and really what we mean by that is assumptions tend to hold us back, but God's truth is what sets us free to live that life of adventure and abundant life in Jesus. The cage of assumptions, really one of the things that the book talks about, Wild Goose Chase, that we're going through together, but also the sermon series is that, we have so many assumptions in our lives of this even says that one of the most dangerous assumptions we can make is assuming that we know more than we actually do, that we make decisions based on being safe and being comfortable and assuming maybe I'm too old to do this, I'm too young to do this, different things like that. And so we're going to talk about that today. I've got a very special guest with us today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Kress Johnson.
Okay. Your name's Johnson too?
Yeah.
Kress Johnson. How old are you, Kress?
I'm 13.
13?
Yes.
Who are your parents?
Well, they're really cool.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. What's their names?
Ben Johnson and Ashley Johnson.
My name's Ben Johnson.
Really?
Are you my son?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is my oldest son, Kress. So he's 13. He's awesome. You're going to be what grade this year?
8th grade.
You're in 8th grade. That's amazing. And so how's that going so far?
It's good.
Good. Well, Kress is joining us today, and I'm excited. We've never done something like this before, have we?
No.
Are you happy? Are you excited?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it all?
I'm kind of nervous.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's all right. You're going to do great. The reason I invited Kress today is because in thinking about assumptions, really, we've had a lot of life changes in the last 5 years. We've moved quite a bit. We were here at Beltway before. I know I've shared this story before, so this is a major repeat for you. Just hang with me for a second. But in case you're new with this, that we lived here for a long time. I grew up here in so many ways. I came to college at Hardin-Simmons and met my wife Ashley at Hardin-Simmons, and I've been coming to this church since 2000 and just volunteered here, served here. I know, right? And then at one point got to come on staff here as a groups pastor, and then weekend services and helping at the North Campus and all different things. And then in 2020, right as COVID was happening, you were how old at that time?
I was 8.
8,
7,
yeah.
something.
Okay, so we had our first 2 children here. We now have 3 boys. Kress is the oldest of those boys. But in 2020, the Lord had been stirring us for some time to something about the Austin area just felt like home to us and felt like He was stirring something. And so in that time in 2020, we felt like the Lord told us to move. And so the leadership here was such a blessing to us, but that ended up in Bastrop, Texas, at a church called River Valley. And so in that year, we made a move, and it was right in the middle of COVID, and so that was an interesting time that we'll talk about. But, it was a new place. We didn't know anybody there. We lived in a little apartment there for a little bit. Our brand new baby, we just had our 3rd boy, his brother, in February. We moved in July. The baby slept in our little bathroom there in the apartment for a while we were trying to find a house. It was a wild season. But tell me about that, what you remember back then and just kind of what that was for you. What did you think was happening and what did you understand happening in that move?
I just didn't think much of it. I
just kind
thought
of
we
going
were
along.
just visiting.
Okay.
There. I didn't think we were going to move there.
Okay.
I thought Bastrop was a fish restaurant. I didn't think it was a town.
Yeah. Bass drop. Yeah.
So after we visited there, I realized it was a town. And then I kind of realized it was more, but I didn't really think much of it because I just thought, oh, we'll come back to Abilene and visit every now and then.
Yeah.
It won't be like we're leaving forever.
Yeah.
And ended up not being like that at all.
Yeah.
But then...
Well, we did visit some,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was much more like we're moving here full time and doing ministry here, and so...
And it was just also weird with the COVID because we never met anyone really until like 2 years later.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I remember even church, school, any of that. Well, you didn't even start, like you were starting school, but it was all online.
Yeah.
So I remember you sitting up in that little room in our apartment. We had a little folding table and chair, and you had your iPad, and that's how he started school there, was not even really meeting people in person. And so what was that like, even just with school?
I mean, it was just really new because I'd never done school online before. And when like we got sick, I would do it online.
Yeah.
And it was different, but like I kind of got to meet people online, so whenever I did actually go to school,
Yeah.
I knew them a little bit, so
it actually kind of helped that transition. Huh?
But it was also weird when I went to school, because then I was like writing on paper, and it was like, oh wow.
Haven't done this in a while. Yeah. Yeah, I can remember even like starting at the church and going to church, and everybody's wearing masks, so we were meeting people for the first time, brand new people in our lives, but they had masks on mostly.
Yeah.
And I remember when that started to change, because then you'd see people's full face, and sometimes
Like,
that was a little shocking. I was like, oh, your nose and mouth tell a bigger story there. That's amazing. And so, but thinking of assumptions, like you said that a little bit, like you assumed that this was more of a visit than a move, but
Yeah.
as you knew we were moving and it got real, like all our stuff's there, we're in an apartment looking for a house, like, did you have any assumptions as like, this is what this is going to be like?
I thought we were going to be in an apartment forever, whereas like we're just in a tiny thing, and we're just kind of chill there, do school online. I thought that's what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
But then it changed, and
Yeah.
it was weird, but I just assumed we were going to be in an apartment for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And that wasn't so bad. I remember the apartment I knew, being the dad, was going to be temporary, but it was I thought that season was kind of sweet, even though we were kind of snug in there, but having the pool at the apartment was
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, it was a really nice apartment.
It was fun, wasn't it? Yeah.
It could have been worse.
It could have been worse, yeah. And so, we start building this life in Bastrop. You grow up there, start making friends and neighbors, and so did you enjoy our time there? Like,
Yeah,
what was that like?
I really liked it. It
Yeah.
was nice, and it also got me excited for coming back here, because there was some stuff that I did miss a lot, like restaurants.
So well, yeah, there
It's
weren't
like
a lot of
Panda
restaurants.
Express and McDonald's, and
That's all
that's
Bastrop
it.
had. Yeah. So coming back to visit was exciting, to see
Yeah.
friends and come to Beltway and
Yeah, it
eat
was-
good food. Yeah. I don't know that we appreciated some of the food and relationships we had until we left, but
Yeah.
that helped. So, let's fast forward we're living life there in Bastrop, and honestly, your mom and dad, we thought that was the long-term thing. The Lord clearly spoke to us and told us to go there. We were doing ministry there. We were living life there, and we kind of thought we'd be there for a long time. And then we get a call to possibly come back here to Beltway and move back to Abilene. And so, we brought you into that discussion pretty early. And
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you, in front of all these people, that the reason we did that is we valued your opinion. We valued, where you were in life, but also just that I could trust you. I want you to know that, because, we didn't talk to your younger siblings. They'll watch this at some point, but it's because they weren't ready to necessarily understand the possibilities. We weren't sure that would be a change, but they weren't ready to understand that. And I also wasn't sure they could keep a secret.
that was really hard.
Yeah, it was.
Not telling anybody.
Yeah. But you did good with it, because
Yeah.
there were a lot of implications of, if that didn't end up being what happened, we didn't want to stir anything up with where we were or where we might be coming. And so I'm proud of you. You did a great job, but we valued your opinion. And so as we talked with you about, hey, we might be moving back to Abilene and Beltway and the possibilities there, what'd you feel like in that?
I was just shocked, because I remember I was just like playing, I think it was Temple Run on the iPad.
Okay.
And then y'all were just like, hey, we need to talk to you. Go put that up. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought I did something wrong.
Thought you're in trouble.
And then y'all said, like, I think we're going to move, like, we got a job, thought, I guess is what it was, to go back to Abilene. I was just, because I thought we were just going to be in Bastrop forever. That was my mindset. So when y'all said that, it just changed my mind. Like, thinking not staying here forever.
Yeah. Were you
And so, yeah.
kind of the initial feelings? Were you like, that could be exciting, that's scary, that's sad? Like, what you kind of assume was gonna
Yeah.
be happening?
I just thought, like, because I just remember living in that house, like, in Abilene and stuff. I thought it was going to all be the same, like it was going to be kind of like that house.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
it was like,
you assumed we'd kind of go back to the same house, same street in
yeah,
Abilene.
like I'd have all the same friends again.
Yeah.
Which ended up not being
Yeah.
because a lot of them are gone, or there's a bunch of new people here now. So
That's interesting to hear. I think that's a fair assumption, not just from your age at that time. So, how old were you when we told you that? That was,
I think I was like 12, 11.
yeah, you're
think I
probably
was
11 or 12. And
Yeah.
so, that was a fair assumption at that age, even for an adult to, you're kind of thinking, I'm going to come back to something very similar. And we have in some ways, but
Yeah.
a lot happens in 4.5 years too. Like friends grow up, they move, you moved, they go to different schools, they've got different friend groups. You went to a different school coming back.
Yeah.
And so, once we settled some of that in, like we know we're moving, we've got a date set that we're moving, as we're packing up, tell me kind of what'd you think, like, hey, this is what this is going to be like the next few weeks as we're actually moving?
I just didn't I was kind of scared a little bit because I was leaving some friends. I thought like some friends in Abilene that I had like weren't going to accept me again. I was just kind of nervous about that.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you've not shared that before. But that's real,
Yeah.
like that can be scary. And I think that's the thing that even as I read this book and we talk about it on Thursdays and Sundays during our services, and of even talking in this with you, is a lot of assumptions are based on fear. And lots of times it's like, man, I'm assuming it's gonna happen like this or in this way based on like I'm afraid of the change, and so I appreciate you sharing that. That's really interesting, and I think that's a good assumption to make. Is what if I'm not accepting? And it starts getting into anxiousness and the what ifs of like, what if I'm not accepted? What if it's worse? What if because we liked where we were, right? Like we liked our house, we had good friends. Your school was a little iffy, but our church was great, right? And so it was hard to leave that, and to trust the Lord that like we kind of know what we're coming back to, but there's going to be a lot of new to it. So it feels risky, right?
Yeah.
And so in those risks and the fear, we assume a lot of things. And so, and I want you to know, I think hopefully you know this because we're trying to live life openly with you about our feelings, is even when we were feeling similarly, it's scary. It feels risky, but you're just trusting the Lord told us to do this. We brought you in on that conversation because we wanted you to pray and listen to the Lord. Do you feel like we did that?
Yeah.
Do you feel like we did that well?
We definitely did that.
Okay, cool. It's okay to say no. But, I wanted you to hear from the Lord too, and that would be affirmation to me and Mom of like, hey, this is what the Lord's doing and we need to do this. And so as we move, and we're now in Abilene, something you may not have known is that you remember our first night here?
Yes.
So we're almost a year, we're a little more than a year at this point, having been back in Abilene and been back at Beltway. But that first night, it was August 1st, 2024, I guess. And it was just a hard day of like physically hard we're moving. It was kind of rainy. We've got most of our stuff in storage. We're living in a rent house temporarily while we've been looking for a home for months and can't, nothing's quite working out. And so we move into this place. I'm staying with our dog Truffles, the cutest dog in the world, right? So, great dog. So I'm staying with Truffles in the rent house because we don't have everything set up. And you and the brothers and Mom are staying at the hotel. Is that where y'all went?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
where
Okay,
we went.
y'all were at the hotel, and so that night I was pretty restless and sleepless, and I know Mom was too. I don't know if you were that way. And so,
I mean, I slept, but it was definitely a hard night.
Yeah, I think we were all kind of feeling like it was one of those moments where I know Ashley and me were feeling this way, and that's why I was wondering about you. It was kind of one of those like, God, are we crazy? Like, did we hear you? Like, is this, we were pretty anxious about it because it was just emotional. And we were excited to be here, but we were also kind of grieving where we had left. And I just remember being really anxious that night and questioning the Lord and really praying, like, did I just move my whole family into this place? And, but clearly the Lord has said yes, and it's been a blessing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, like, those first couple days, and I mean, we moved and you started school quick. And so and it was a new school and new friends. You didn't know people there. So how did that feel going to school, especially?
I remember when we first got there, they had this thing in the band hall.
Yeah.
To where it was like, they were telling us like how this year was going to be like and stuff like that. And so I went in there and I just kind of looked at Mom like, don't make me do this.
Oh, really?
Take me back.
Yeah.
And then, like, because there were so many kids in that band hall. It was packed.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of sat in the back, like, nobody look at me.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
And so.
So you're assuming, like, this is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, we went to, what was it? Oh, yeah, we went to the gym.
Yeah.
And and the coaches, they were like, if you're new here, stand up, come down here. And I was like, oh, gosh.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then they were like, tell us something about yourself. And I did that. And I sat back up there. And then Levi, he came up to me and was like, hey, man, what's up? So that was like the first friend that I made.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then after that, I went to the first class. Didn't really know anybody. Teacher just told us about her. It was Texas history, I think, is what it was.
Yeah.
And so I sat in the back, thankfully for me at that time.
Yeah.
And then it was break, and I didn't know what break was.
Yeah, sure.
And so I was just like, what is break? So I went up to Logan.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is break? What am I doing? He said, oh, it's like recess, but we're not on a playground. I was like, oh, okay. And so I just went and sat by a kid named Jeremiah.
Yeah.
And I kind of got to know him and his brother Oliver.
Yeah.
And after I got to meet them, I made another friend. And they were in my next class, which was study hall.
Okay.
And so I got to see them a little bit. And then it was lunch. And I sat at a table with some of the 7th graders it was Cooper, Jose, and Daniel.
Yeah.
And I met them really good. And they were all, except for Jose, they were all in my class. And so I got to meet them.
Yeah.
And then just over the first day, I just met like almost every single person in 7th grade. Because, I mean, it's a small school, so it's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
And so on the second day of school, I was like, I got this. This is going to be fun.
Nice. Well, I'm proud of you. I just want to tell you, man, I'm proud of you because it's hard as a parent to, like, launch your kid into that, too. Because I know, like, ultimately, I'm the one that made the change, right? It's for my job and for my career. I know the Lord told us to do this, but it has impact on you and on your brothers. And so that's emotional for me, too, because I know how I moved a lot as a kid, as you know, like every 5 years I moved and did that thing, like new school, new people. So I knew how difficult it was. I knew how it shaped me, so I know how there was value in it. Mm-hmm. But it's hard doing that to your kid, but I also was just really proud of you and still am of just the courage you did to do that, to go the first day and to even that, like go up to a stranger and be like, hey, what are we doing? What is break? That kind of, that takes courage to do that. And, but the outcome is God provided for you. Like all these names you just listed is like, I know all these kids because you're great friends now. Right. And you wouldn't have met them and that wouldn't have happened if we didn't do this. Right. And same thing for Bastrop. I think about the friends that you made there. Those are memories I have in my childhood too. It's like, man, if I hadn't made those moves and changes, I wouldn't know these people, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had these experiences. And so sometimes our assumptions, I think, can hold us back in fear from taking those steps of courage and faith that lead to, man, such good friendships, such good experiences. And so I'm proud of you for that, dude.
Thanks.
It's not easy to do. A lot of people avoid it. And that'd be my encouragement to all of us who might be listening to this is it takes courage. It takes strength. And sometimes it's just like a little step. Like God will take 999 with you. Toby Slough told us this recently, and I think it's true, but you got to take a step of faith, and have strength to do that. And I see that building in your character and in you because Another thing you said that is, I guess it was Levi that came up to you like, hey man, he introduced himself. He kind of helped break that for you. I had the same experience when I moved as a sophomore in high school to a new school and stuff. Is a guy that's a real good buddy of mine still today, Nathan, Big Nate. He did the same thing. It was my first day. I was just lots of people new. I had my little lunch tray and I'm like, man, what am I doing? And he came up to me and did the same thing Levi did for you, and that really helped. And I see you do that for other people too. So I think that's cool that you've had people do that for you. You do it for them and pass it on. So that's awesome. What about that school? What about even youth? Because you grew up at Beltway. Beltway wasn't new to you in some ways, but you were stepping into a whole new season of going into youth instead of kids ministry. So what was that like? And it's 2 campuses at this point, and so there's some youth at South, there's youth at North, and what was that like kind of jumping into church again?
Okay, so whenever we first went to North, it was like I knew some people, like I recognized them from like kids camp and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I really don't know anyone here. So I sat by Landon, his name was Landon.
Yeah.
And I just kind of did the same thing, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And then so we kind of became friends, and so I did that, and it was just surprising because it's way different than kids.
Yeah, youth is very different
Significantly
than kids.
Different.
Yeah, dealt with kids and
when I got to know the Daniels, that helped a lot.
Good.
So.
Well, I'm proud
and
of
then
our
over
staff,
time, just going on Wednesday and just doing that, I got to know. I almost know every single person in youth now.
Yeah.
That went to North.
Yeah.
South, I'm still working on it.
Well, because it's changing again where you come South on Wednesdays now, and
there's a lot more people that I don't know now.
Sure. But I think it's gathering those lessons. Both of us. I mean, I'm having to do it too. Is from the changes in Bastrop to the changes in school, to you can trust that if you'll take a step and just go, you'll meet people. It starts to become home and family, and God takes care of it. But it's still, no matter how many times you've done it, I don't know about you. For me, it's hard to do it again. It's like everything in you kind of avoids like stepping into a new season and a new thing, because it's hard, but you assume probably like it's going to be harder than you want it to be. So, but it always seems to be fruitful and good, and God uses it. So, I want to talk about a little bit. One thing I love about our story in this last several years is that even while we were living in Bastrop and we had a great church there, and you were going to camps with our church at River Valley, you would also, I'm really proud of you, because I don't know if I would have done this as a kid. Is you went to kids camp here with Beltway. So, we would drive you to Abilene, which is not a short drive, it's 4 hours. You would hop on a bus and take that bus ride to New Mexico with a bunch of kids you don't know, really.
Yeah, it's hard.
And do camp. And so, to me, you've shown courage like your whole life and things like that. And I just think that's really cool. And then that was to me, one of the neat things of you were growing in your faith at River Valley, but also Beltway was part of that story.
Yeah.
And then you became a Christian at kids camp one summer, right?
Yeah.
So what was that experience like?
It was just like, I got there, and they always did it to where like the first night you can do this. Like, we'll do the prayer with you.
Like you can give your life to Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then and then on the second night, the first 2 times that I went, they were like, I know last night we just got here, it was stressful. You can choose again if you want to.
Yeah.
And so on that first day, I was like, I don't want to do this right now. I'm just now getting to know people.
Yeah.
And then that
something
whole,
was something stirring in you, like,
and then that entire second day, and they did it at night.
Okay.
So that entire second day, I was like, please do that. Please do that. I want to become a Christian. And so they did do it, and I became a Christian. So yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I've never heard you tell it in that detail. That's cool. You were funny about that coming home, because we didn't really talk about it much, but then somebody from here was like, hey, Kress became a Christian. That's awesome. And I was like, what? And you were like, yeah, I became a Christian. Like, just nonchalant, like, yeah. I was like, dude, we've been praying for this for 11 years. That's amazing. So I'm proud of you. And it's fun to hear that, of just how I want that for you because I follow Jesus and your mom does too. And we obviously know that's the most important decision you can make. And just to see how the Lord was speaking to you personally, I didn't have to say anything, do anything, even though I wanted it for you, but to see how the Lord cares about you more than I do, and that y'all had this thing happen, right? That's cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's neat. I want to talk too about, one thing I observed, I think it was early spring, was we had the 612 conference here with our youth group that we put on every January or February. I can't remember exactly.
I think it was January.
Was it January? And so we did that this year. It was at the North Campus. And I remember taking you. We'd signed up for it. You were going. But I could tell, just being your dad and seeing you, like, there was something abnormal going. Like you were struggling with emotionally with like you were kind of emotional and it was overwhelming. But I remember walking in that night, you were, you didn't say it so much, but it was just kind of like, I don't want to be here. Is that fair? Yeah. And so, again, I want you to know, like, my dad heart in those moments is like, I don't want to make you do that because it's uncomfortable. But I know, like, you need to do this. I know I've had to be pushed in that way. And so talk about that a little. Is that fair, what you were feeling in that moment?
Yeah, I was right? Like, because none of the North people that I knew were there.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
felt alone.
Where is everyone?
Yeah.
So whenever that happened, I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I know I've said this, but I really mean it. Like, I'm really proud of you because I saw, like, in that moment, there was this choice you made of, like, I don't want to be here. I want to leave. And I know I pushed you a little bit of, like, you need to stay. And I tried to help you find a connection there. And again, the Daniels did a great job, I think, helping you connect with your leader, who interestingly enough, your leader was a guy that I've known since, like, like college days, right? And so I thought that was neat how the Lord sort of connected that for you. But I was just really proud of you because you did a really hard thing that day. Like, you did a really hard thing of staying and engaging, not just going and, like, being grumpy and, like, I'm just going to be here and, like, be mad about it. Like, you took a step of faith and courage, and then you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to enjoy it. And then, I was weary. I went home like, God, help him, like, have a good time, meet some people, and I was sad, but I knew it was best for you. But then as I kind of saw you through the weekend, you were connecting. And I mean, how would you say, were you glad that you made that choice?
Yeah, I'm glad I went.
Okay, that's awesome. I think that's a testimony to all of us, is like, sometimes we got to do hard things and take everything in our body, mind, and soul is going like, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. And I think that's some of the best things we can do with the Lord is when you assume the worst, but the Lord's telling you to do it, is do it, because the outcome is going to be what you experienced, which was, did you make friends?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Did you learn about Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah. You eat some stuff you probably shouldn't have eaten?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great time. So I'm just really proud of you for that. And I think it teaches us a lot. I mean, you're never too young, never too old to follow Jesus and be a testimony to other people. So that's really good. I just want to kind of pause here for a minute because I'm looking down at some new Crocs you've apparently gotten, and I'm thinking your shoe game is on point right now, man. So what are those? Obviously I like shoes. I got these going on, and you're rocking the bananas right now. It's pretty good.
I love the bananas.
We got something in common. I guess we like wild shoes. So, one thing I want to ask you, if you can kind of think into the future a little bit, is do you see how, assumptions you might have about stepping into something different or new? Because God really is a God of adventure. I've experienced that. And one thing I'm hopeful to do, I'm expecting to do, is take you on some of those adventures. Like, I've gotten to go all over the world, as you know, and share the gospel and see different cultures and meet different people. And one thing as y'all get older and we can do it, is take you these places, and that become a normal part of your life. It wasn't a normal part of my life until I got into ministry and surrendered my life to the Holy Spirit, because he really does take us on this adventure. And so as you think about the future and following Jesus and trusting him with that adventure, how do you think these experiences you've had of being courageous and doing hard things and maybe assuming the worst but trusting for the best, what do you think that experience is going to serve you for when you have to do hard things in the future? Like, go to college, get a job, move out of the house, those types of things?
I'm just always like nervous about people,
Yeah.
like how I'm not going to be accepted.
Okay.
And I've learned that like just doing it has always worked out,
Yeah.
even if I don't want to.
Yeah.
So, like when I go to college, like just like meeting people,
Yeah.
that will help a lot.
Yeah. That's good,
Just it always works out,
Always
even
works
if
out.
I don't think it will.
Yeah. Do you trust that like the reason that's worked out is because the Lord has worked it out?
Yeah.
And that He'll always work it out? That's good. Because it's true. I mean, I want you to know you're not alone. Everybody watching this and listening to this, including your old man, has the same feelings. Like any new thing, I think a lot of people's biggest fear and probably assumption is I won't be accepted, I won't be loved, I'll be made fun of, things like that.
Yeah.
And really, we can have hard moments, but and we will have some hard moments because sometimes people are mean. But overwhelmingly, God puts people in our life that is a dear friend. And because even for me, going to college was that new experience that you'll have too. And some of my best friends in the world, as you know, are from that. If I hadn't gone there in that season, these people wouldn't be part of my life. And I wouldn't have, honestly, if I hadn't come to college here, I wouldn't have connected to Beltway. And look what that's been in our life. Right?
Yeah.
So it's neat. We've dedicated most of our children here, like you came to salvation as part of Beltway. And so it's a really sweet thing that, again, I'm proud of you. And I expect that, in your future, you'll continue to lean on that courage and the Holy Spirit to guide you in that. So got any good jokes you can tell us before we wrap up? No? Okay.
I don't know.
Thought you'd have one in the chamber ready to fire off at me. So, yeah. Dad joke time. He loves my dad jokes, and so I thought he might have one. Okay, I guess not. No big deal. Well, man, I'm excited that you did this with me. I'm proud of you, and thank you. Hopefully it was okay. Not too bad. So,
Yeah.
All right. And so it really was fun. I got to learn some things about you I didn't know. You told 2 stories today I didn't know some of the details of. So
I like to keep my secrets.
well, let's not do that anymore. It makes me nervous, okay? Maybe we can do this again so I can learn more about you. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you joined us today. It really was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it encouraged you because really in all of this, I think something we can learn and gather that's applicable to all of us is just how assumptions really do hold us back from the adventure that Jesus has for us. And some of those assumptions are based in fear. And just being courageous and bold to take a step because Jesus is with us all the time. And in that, he's going to meet you and he will open things up for each one of us that will blow your mind. It's going to be new relationships, new friendships, lifelong relationships, new adventures, going places, doing things, seeing things, experiencing miracles. These are all stories I can share of my own life because of not leaning on the assumption of I'm too young or I'm too old or I've even for some of us, like, we have difficulties. Like I struggle with epilepsy, like we can use these different things and sort of be a victim and go, I can't because when the Lord's telling us, go, I'll take care of you. And so I want to encourage you with that today. Let's lose the assumptions. Let's break through that cage and go on the destiny that Jesus has for you. And I promise you this, the word talks about it. My life will tell it to you. Kress's life will tell it to you, is that if you do that, you will absolutely go on an adventure that's better than anything you could ever think of or conjure up on your own effort of what your life could be. And so I want you to just join us. Join us as we go on that adventure with the Lord. I want to encourage you to come this weekend as we keep going through this series. We want you to come to every weekend service, every weekend, so that you can keep learning and growing. We want you to get this book. And if you haven't started yet, just start with this right now, The Wild Goose Chase, and jump into a group right now, even if you've missed the first few weeks. Just start now. It's okay, and you're going to be blessed by it. So we love you, Beltway Park. We'll see you next week. Bye.